My ex-wife's new husband called me a beggar in front of the whole bank. His laughter was sharp, metallic, the kind of sound that slices through the air and leaves silence dripping behind it. It echoed across the marble floor of the bank. Heads turned. A few clerks smirked, pretending not to. My ex-wife's new husband stood there, his hand pressed casually against the polished counter, eyes glinting with mockery. $100? That's all you need? His voice carried, louder than it needed to be. Pathetic, begging in front of strangers. My wife made the right choice. The room tightened. My chest did not. I stood still. No flinch, no defense. My eyes locked onto his. I let the insult settle. I let the audience enjoy their performance. Then I turned, expressionless, to the clerk. Withdraw $6 million, now. The silence broke like glass. The clerk froze. The air stilled. Behind me, his breathing faltered. I didn't look back. Not yet. It hadn't always been this way. Once, she was mine. Once, my trust was a currency she traded without hesitation. I didn't notice the cracks at first. The late nights, the sudden trips, the laughter she saved for her phone instead of me. I told myself stories, easy lies, work stress, friends, exhaustion. But her eyes began to look past me, as if I were a shadow that lingered too long. Then came the message. A number saved under an alias, too intimate to mistake. Words meant for him, not me. I remember staring at the screen in the dark, the glow burning holes in my chest. I didn't ask her, not then. I simply watched. And I learned quickly. The man who now laughs at me in public had already been inside my marriage long before he wore her ring. That night I decided something. I would not scream. I would not beg. I would calculate. The first step was patience. Patience is sharper than any blade. I collected fragments, hotel receipts buried in her purse, a perfume scent, not her own, clinging to his shirt when he dropped by. The careless way she locked her phone, thinking I wouldn't notice the new password. I noticed everything. And still, I smiled. Still, I played the loyal husband. Still, I let her kiss me with a mouth already belonging to someone else. I began tracing him, his accounts, his business failures, his desperate debts. He wasn't the man she thought he was. He was a parasite looking for a host, and she offered herself willingly. DNA test, that was the final thread. The child I had cradled, fed, loved as my own, the child who bore none of my blood. I held the envelope for hours before opening it. My hands did not shake. My heart did not race. The paper inside was silent, but it screamed the truth. He was the father, and she had known. I slid the report across the table one evening. No words, just the envelope. She opened it, eyes scanning. The color drained from her face. You had no right. Stop. One word. Cold. Final. She broke. Tears clawed down her cheeks, her mouth spilling excuses, apologies, twisted justifications. She reached for me. I didn't move. Her hands trembled against the wood of the table, searching for an anchor that no longer existed. I stared at her, not as a man betrayed, but as a judge delivering sentence. And in that silence, she understood. Which is why today, when her husband mocked me in front of the bank, I remained silent. Silence had always been my sharpest weapon. The clerk's voice cracked when she confirmed the request. $6 million transferred into my hands. The screen glowed with numbers that erased every laugh in the room. I heard his breathing collapse behind me. The same man who had once been my shadow, feeding on my life, now choking on his own arrogance. "I'd like to make a withdrawal too," he stammered suddenly, his voice breaking. "Check my account." The clerk typed, paused. Her eyes flicked up. Request denied. Account restricted due to pending debts. The words landed like a hammer. I turned then, slowly, met his eyes. No smile, no triumph. Only silence deep enough to drown him. He dropped to his knees, begging the clerk, begging anyone who would listen. The audience that once laughed now stared at him with disgust. I didn't speak. I didn't need to. Walking out of that bank, the air felt different. Not lighter, not heavier, just clean. The past no longer clung to me. Her lies, his intrusion, the child that was never mine. All of it stayed behind, sealed in marble and glass and whispers. Revenge isn't fire. It isn't rage. It is silence. It is watching someone choke on their own reflection while you stand untouched. As I stepped into the sunlight, I realized something final. They had both mistaken my silence for weakness. They never understood. Silence is where power lives. And I was done wasting mine on them. I left without looking back. I never needed to speak a word. My silence destroyed them louder than any scream ever could.